Hi there, it's me, Brett Fish, and on this episode of Race With Me, I want to take a look at some of the conditions that we sometimes place on people that don't look like us to be able to accept them or let them feel like they fit in or belong. And this often deals with our definition of what is right or what is normal or what is the standard. So let's take a closer look. So this idea is really about this. Don't place conditions on the acceptance of people. And this is one of the ideas of this list that came out of conversations with a lot of my black, colored, and Indian friends, where people spoke about this idea of a conditional acceptance. So you can be part of my group if you talk like me. You can be part of our community if you start to exhibit the same kind of understanding in relation to time that I have. You can be friends with me if your hair is more like mine, if you speak a little more softly, if you dance a little bit less emphatically, if you get a little less emotional about things, if your political views are more aligned to mine, and the list can go on. And it really is about that key point. Don't or stop putting conditions on the acceptance of people. And we touched on this when we looked at the idea of the better black. And we spoke about a black person who might be the minority in a largely white group, feeling pressure to conform, to fit in, to look, dress, speak, act a certain way so that they felt accepted into the group. And part of that for us as white people is as we've spoken about, for us to interrogate the spaces that we have. And I think often just to start to take into consideration, if I'm in an all-white group and I'm inviting one black person to be part of that gathering, to really start thinking, what might that be like for a person who's going to be a minority in that group? What is this experience going to be like for them? And maybe we need to change up who we invite into spaces. Maybe inviting one black person into a group of white people is not helpful, not healthy. So we just really need to start thinking about these things a little bit more deeply. And I think we spoke about this when we touched on color blindness as well. And it is the element of seeing color, of seeing diversity and appreciating it. What does somebody who is different in one way or some ways or many ways, how does this change things up? How does this make things better? What do they add to the situation? What can I learn about how things can look differently? And a lot of it is also about me interrogating myself, that the things that I see as the norm, the things I see as right or the standard, the way things should be done, are probably the way that I've done things, or I've learned things, or I've seen things, and that isn't necessarily a good standard. It isn't necessarily something that should be exclusive, and things that don't align with the way I do things should be seen as not welcome in that space. And I think for white people, this involves a daily dismantling and unlearning. I think this work of anti-racism requires that of us every day. What thoughts, what actions, what mindsets, what behaviors do I need to dismantle today? Do I need to unlearn? How do I need to think differently? How do I need to approach things differently? How can I be more open to a wider variety of flavors and smells and sights and sounds and experiences? How can I learn from other people that do things differently from me? It's this concept of Ubuntu. I am a person through people. And so it really does require us to hold less tightly onto these things that we consider the norm or the right, what is right, or the standard way of doing things, and to invite other people in. And I think what will also help for us as white people is to venture into spaces where we are the minority. Spaces that we've been welcomed and invited to, but to take the chance to experience things as the minority in a group, in a country where we are the minority, and to experience what that feels like, experience where it's uncomfortable maybe, where we feel excluded. And in doing that, hopefully start to understand how we might have made other people feel and start to do things better. Let's accept people. Let's stop placing conditions on our acceptance of people.